What is up, everybody? It is your girl, Sierra Danielle. First and foremost, I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, or if you don't celebrate any of the holidays this season, just wishing you some joy, some peace, and some happiness during this season. A lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of love. Holidays are supposed to be this happy time, right? Like you're around friends, you're around family, people that you love, spouses, children, cousins, everybody. For everyone, it's not that case. For some people, the holidays are seen as something that doesn't make them happy, something that triggers them, something that doesn't really bring good spirits and good emotions. Seasonal depression and anxiety is a thing. It is very real, it is very prevalent. If you are struggling with seasonal depression, I personally am here to say that I see you. I recognize that, I can empathize with that, and you are heard, you are seen, and you are not in this alone. Just being transparent, I have struggled with seasonal depression in the past, and this season is the first time where I really haven't hit the low that I usually have hit. Now, it has been difficult. I have had to fight. I do take it day by day. This year was very big for me mentally, but it's still a daily struggle. So I do empathize with that. I made this video to share some tips with you all that I do implement day to day, and it helps me significantly during these seasons, during this time of year, and throughout the whole year. But specifically this time of year where a lot of stuff can be triggering for not only myself, but the people around me. So for those of you who are unsure about what does anxiety or depression look like, I'm going to kind of read to you some symptoms and signs of anxiety and depression so you can kind of see, am I struggling with seasonal depression? Am I struggling with anxiety or depression in general? So for anxiety, a couple of things that are some signs and some symptoms are irritability, restlessness, lack of concentration, not being able to focus clearly, racing thoughts, like feeling like you cannot control your thoughts and that you are completely out of the driver's seat when it comes to the things that are popping into your mind. The fact that you cannot control it makes your anxiety even worse. Sweating, nausea, trembling, heart palpitations, chest tightness, body tension. You can carry anxiety in your body physically. It doesn't always have to be like you're worried about something or your mind is racing. Sometimes it is physically your posture, stiffness, tension, like you carry that in your body. Some signs of depression: appetite changes. You either overeat, you don't eat at all. That leads to weight loss or weight gain, significant weight loss or weight gain. Loss of interest in things you used to love, stuff that used to bring you complete joy and utter happiness. You just don't want to do it anymore. That's a big red flag right there. Isolation. I know for me, when I go through depressive episodes, I don't want to be around anybody. I go into this reclusive state of mind and I just stick to myself. I don't reach out to my friends, my significant. I don't reach out to anybody. A lot of times my close friends and people can, sense that. So they'll reach out to me. Also, agitation and irritability. So just having these mood swings where everything gets on your nerves. Repetitive noise is something for me that just grinds my gears when I'm going through stuff like this. Loud rooms, crowded rooms of people, noises, anything, irritability, anything can tick you off. Mood swings, you can be extremely high to the point where you feel like you're literally high and you're having these, you can't even explain how happy you are, and then you have these lows where you really don't feel like doing anything and you really cannot explain the sadness and the emotions that you feel. If somebody were to ask you what's wrong, you wouldn't even be able to tell them because you don't know. Guilt and discontentment, like nothing you do makes you feel complete or whole. Like you just try to do anything and it just never feels like it's enough. So having feelings of hopelessness, being tired and fatigued, because with anxiety you can have some insomnia and you can't sleep because your mind is racing. And pairing that with depression, you are tired all the time. So it's kind of like a contradictory, cycle there. So imagine how somebody, like myself that struggles with depression and anxiety can feel from time to time. So those are some symptoms. If you identify with that and are like, oh wow, I can definitely see where some symptoms are present in my life, I'm going to give you some tips for how I manage my mental health. I've been implementing them all year, and it's been helping. I can see a distinct change. So tip number one, community. Finding a community, someone you trust that you can talk to. My best friend Tyler, she is my go-to person. We've been on this journey together with our mental health. Love you. And it's amazing finding someone you can trust, that you can confide in and tell them how you feel. Someone who doesn't try to belittle your feelings or say that it's not real or you're overreacting or you're doing too much. Someone that makes your feelings and emotions feel valid and that they're hearing you and listening to you and seeing you. Therapy. I will recommend therapy for anyone, even if you feel like you don't have a problem. Therapy. The problem with therapy is it can be expensive, especially with the insurances and stuff like that. And for someone who doesn't have insurance, trying to find a therapist that's affordable can be following therapists on Instagram. You get a daily dose every day that you can kind of implement throughout your day. You're already on social media as it is. So finding an account that's a therapist account that helps you every day, that's little nuggets. You're feeding your mind, you're feeding your spirit, and those are planting seeds within you that you can implement on the day to day. I'm going to put some therapists in the comments that I follow that have been so helpful with me on this journey that I've been on. Number two, journal. You have to get these emotions out somehow, some way. Whether you're, talking it out to yourself, whether you're writing it out to yourself, whether you're in the event that your community is not available to you, you have to get it out some way. I like to use the analogy of a 2-liter. If you shake it and you shake it and you shake it and you shake it and you shake it, you're the 2-liter bottle. And being shook is all of these emotions and all of these things that are happening to you. What happens when you shake it? As soon as you try to open it up, it's like everywhere and it's a mess and it bleeds all over everywhere. It stains everything. So you need to not get so shaken up to the point where it's bleeding into every single area of your life, your work, your relationships, your family, your personal life, your businesses, your brands. You don't want to get to that place, okay? The third thing is find a place where you can release your emotions. Mine is the shower. I love the shower. I cry in the shower. I sing in the shower. I worship in the shower. I talk to myself in the shower. Everybody should talk to themselves. You're not crazy, okay? Other places could be your car, it could be your room, it can be anywhere that's your place where you won't have any interruptions and it's just you. Number four, finding your triggers. That is so important. A lot of times during this year, triggers could be being around a specific family member. Triggers could be being in certain environments. Triggers could be hearing certain music. It can be anything. Figuring out what your triggers are is the way to set boundaries for yourself so that you don't have a mental lapse and sends you right back into that downward spiral. The people around you, express those triggers to them and set those boundaries with them so that way you and your mind and your peace can be maintained, because it's about you. You don't have to compromise yourself for anybody else. It's about you and your mental sanity and your peace during this time and all the time. So recognize what your triggers are, because from there you can set proper boundaries. And for those who don't want to respect your boundaries, then you can do with that relationship and that person what you wish to do. Last tip, take it day by day. It's not going to happen overnight. It is a marathon, not a sprint. There are going to be times where you feel great, that you feel amazing, and there are going to be days where you feel low. That does not mean that you have backtracked. That does not mean that the work that you've done is in vain. That does not mean that you're not good enough. That doesn't mean that something's wrong with you and that the therapy's not working and that the little tasks that you're doing is not working. It's just a low day. And you have to allow yourself to feel those negative emotions, because you don't want to try to tuck it in and avoid it, because then you'll become that 2-liter soda bottle. You want to feel them. You feel them, you acknowledge them, you learn from those negative emotions and take out what you're supposed to take out and throw away what you're supposed to throw away. And what I mean by that is you take out the positive and learn from these emotions, and you throw out the lies that the emotions tell you, that you're not good enough, that it's not working. You throw all of those lies away. You combat the lies with the truth. The fact is, I've made a lot of progress. In this moment, today is just a low day for me. That this does not define the path that I've been on and the progress that I've made. You have to be patient with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Hope this video blessed you in some way, shape, or form. Again, happy holidays. There's nothing wrong with you if you're experiencing seasonal depression or anxiety. There's nothing wrong with you. That's normal. Don't try to hide. Don't try to tuck yourself away. I hear you, I see you, I'm rooting for you, I'm advocating for you. We're in this together. And stay tuned for more videos about mental health. And I wish you a Merry Christmas.